And welcome back. Views expressed by the host on this program documented to be almost always right 99.8% of the time. Phone number, if you want to join us, 800-282-2882. The email address, lrushbo@eibnet.us. See, Ashley Judd. Now, this will lead me into Ashley Judd, actress and left-wing activist, says the tragedy of Donald Trump's election victory is far worse than when she was raped. Okay, now how do you deal with this? I mean, this is clearly this is not sane. This is not rational. This isn't anywhere close to rational. She said, "It remains for me the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my lifetime," being Trump's election. Raped as a child, bad. Re-raped by a political system that ordains a clown, that's really bad. She made the claim in a Huffington Post video titled, "Ashley Judd Describes Being Triggered by Trump." And she's wearing one of those pink vagina hats, only they're not called vagina hats. Remember those things from the... And by the way, the women, there's another big women's march. Wait till you hear who the three organizers are. Just wait till you hear. I'll get to that in due course. Folks, these people, the Democrats, are in a big mess. The Ashley Judd, the Hollywood left, the Robert B. Reich, all of these people are just in a genuine psychological mess. They're in a real political mess because, they're strong in California. They have electoral strength in New York. But in terms of national power, it's eroded. Now, that's not to say they couldn't reclaim it in future elections. But they have lost it consistently. They've been losing it now for 8 years. Steady. And it hasn't mattered what Republicans are on the ballot. It has not mattered. While Romney was losing, the Democrats were being voted out of office in the House and the Senate, in governorships and mayors. When Trump wins, the Republicans won even bigger. And the Democrats lost even more. So why are the Democrats in this position? Well, here's my theory. I think it's mostly due to Obama and the Clintons and the media. The success of the Clintons and the success of Obama and the media reporting on those two families with adulation and unopposed love has created an illusion among average, ordinary American leftists and Democrats that they were a growing and burgeoning majority and that everybody, other than a select few, really screwball right-wingers agreed with them. They have been lied to by the media. They have been misrepresented by the media. The Clintons, it turns out that there wasn't all this personal adulation for Bill Clinton and none for Hillary. It turns out that the adulation for Barack Obama had more to do with his race and the historical component of his election than it was to do with his policies, which were the transformation of America. Look, the more Obama worked on and the closer Obama got to transforming this country away from its founding, the more strident the opposition became to Obama. But the media didn't report that. The media reported the exact opposite. The media created illusions just like they did during this campaign. They created the illusion that Trump barely had 35% support, that Hillary was a landslide winner, that the country at large was laughing at Donald Trump. Never mind those big crowds. Never mind them. They've been lied to. They've been lied to by their teachers. They have been lied to by Hollywood. They've been lied to by every image maker that's out there, that they have been smoking the opposition and that they're in the midst of turning this country into a socialist paradise, that it, in fact, may have already happened. But there's been something else happening at the same time as the media lying to the Democrats about how rosy things were, about how loved the Clintons were, and about how loved and admired Obama was. There's nobody left in the Democrat Party that knows how to get out of the mess they're in. And the evidence for that, the evidence of that, is look what they think they have to do. Raise hell on the streets. Cause fires, hope to blow up buildings, throw rocks at cops, do this kind of thing, or worse. This is not how you build electoral movements. This is hate. Go look at what Martin Luther King said about hate. You can't sustain it, and it's not, you can't successfully build anything positive out of hate. You can't grow it. You cannot affect things in an uplifting, positive way via hate. And they are the biggest hate group in the country today, the Democrat Party and its acolytes. And not only are they filled with people that hate, they're literally overflowing with genuinely deranged and unhinged, I mean this in a clinical sense, people. So they are reduced to all they have because they do not have a single political leader that can get them out of this mess. Not right now. They don't have a bench. Yeah, it might have been Julian Castro, might have been, take it, Joe Biden. They don't have a bench. They've got nobody to get them out. So what do? They think these marches and they think these riots and they think this resistance is a unifying thing. And they think they can build the next big thing on it. Because the Tea Party did. Look what the Tea Party was not rooted in hate. The Tea Party was not even a political movement when it started. It was average, ordinary Americans from the grassroots had never been in politics before, fed up with what the political system was doing. These people claim that all they got to do is reenact the Tea Party. These people are political from the moment they wake up until they wake up. They are political 24/7. They're schemers. They're calculators. They're bullies. There's nothing average, common, ordinary about them in the sense of citizenship. They are activists through and through, and they have been losing. But here's the real thing I think has been going on, and I've referenced this a couple times recently in a pretty focused way, but I didn't quite take it this far. I've talked about victimhood and the real restricting nature of a victim. When you're a victim, when you allow yourself to be a victim, when you personally proclaim you're a victim, you cannot succeed. You cannot be happy. When you are a victim, you are forever at the whim of other people. You can never be in control of your own life. If you choose to be a victim, and most of these leftists are choosing to be victims, if you choose that, you are choosing losing status. And you become dependent on representatives to address the grievances that you think that you have and face as a victim. But as a victim, you're giving away all power that you might think you have. You are giving away any hope for optimism. You can't be optimistic and be a victim. Not this way. You can be illegally prisoned and be optimistic you're going to get out. Political prisoner. Well, I'm just talking about you're a functioning adult. You're going about your day, but you're choosing to be a victim. And if you get right down to it, that's what the Democrat Party has become. The American left and the Democrat Party have become victims of America. This is what I think is the glue of the Democrat Party. Every damned one of them thinks they are a victim of some American atrocity. They are a victim of racism, traceable to slavery, traceable to the founding. They are a victim of sexism, tracing to the beginning of the country when women couldn't vote. They are victims of, you name it. They're victims of homophobia. They're victims of bigotry. They're victims of transgenderography, whatever it is. They're all victims of something. But the point of it is America is what has harmed them. America and its unfairness and its unjustness and its immorality is what has made these people victims. And therefore, America has become the enemy. And thus, anybody who loves America, like you and me, we're also the enemy. We are blind, we are suckers, or we are genuine enemies because we don't see the evils of this country. Now, I maintain to you that the vast majority of Democrats and average ordinary American leftists in this country who think their victims have been talked into it by university professors, high school teachers, Hollywood, and the media. Because that's who everybody focuses on. The disenfranchised, the hungry, the homeless, the thirsty, the starving, you name it. If you look at every one of these protest marches, everybody in it, Black Lives Matter, women against guns, they're all victims. They have all willingly joined some group that consists of victims. Look at how many of these colored ribbons that people wear. You've got red for AIDS. You've got pink for whatever it is. You can make yourself look like a more decorated 5-star general with all the different victim ribbons out there. Global warming. You're a victim of evil oil. You're a victim of capitalism. You are a victim of global carbon pollution, whatever it is. And you are helpless. But you have, as a victim, a built-in excuse for never achieving anything. Victims can't. By definition, a victim can't accomplish anything because the oppressor is preventing it. And this has become the glue that attracts and holds the Democrat Party united. And I'm telling you, folks, victimhood and victim status is not a growing, winning political organizational theory. It's devoted to pessimism. It is enmeshed in negativism. It is enshrouded in anger and rage. And it offers no solutions. It offers only continual, perpetual victimhood. And it's what provides the excuse for all of the, at times, felonious behavior, misdemeanor behavior, the destruction of private property, the bullying. So it is a resentment and a hate for America that binds them all together. Martin Luther King, I'll tell you what he said, that hate is too great a burden to bear. Because hate burns fast. You can't build a movement on the smoldering ashes of hate because there's never any redress. Once you start hating, you don't want to stop. It's what animates you. It's what informs you. It's what gives you your meaning in life. You couple that with being a victim of one of these invisible, mysterious American indignities. And you are then faced with a lifetime of running around trying to point it all out to people and march against it and protest against it. But there's no champion leading these people. There's nobody now The media cannot do glowing stories on whoever the Democrat leader today is, not like they could with Obama and not like they could with Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton. There's a vacuum. So the stories have to be an echo of the hate that exists in the constituency groups of all these different victim and minority bunch of groups made up of the Democrat Party. They scream, they taunt, they rage, they demand, they drive you crazy, but they will not sustain a movement that will win back Democrat control of the American political system. But on the other side of all this, and every bit of that is true, and probably even more so than I've stated it. But what's the only thing sailing the Republican boats right now? The unexpected gale, the tailwind that's Donald Trump. Without Donald Trump, where would the GOP be? And they haven't reconciled themselves with that knowledge either. They would rather that not be the case, if you ask me. Some of them actually wish that the reason they have these winning majorities and winning opportunities, they wish it weren't Trump that had made it possible. Because there aren't any excuses now. The Democrats can't stop them. All the Democrats can do is behave like a bunch of spoiled 2-year-olds who've just been told that Santa Claus is going to go everywhere but their house for the next 10 years. So I think this is why, folks, I think the intensity of this opposition, lack of unity, it's only going to intensify because the only thing the left has now that gives them any identity, any meaning, any reason to get up every day is the hate that they profess really for you, because you are the ones who rejected them and their goddess, Hillary, and elected Trump. They're mad at Trump. They hate Trump. But when Ashley Judd says she feels raped by the election of Trump, what she really means is she feels raped, worse than when she actually was raped. She feels raped by all of us who voted for Trump. I know. I had to take a break. I know. I was right on schedule. Right on. You know, this Ashley Judd thing, well, it's even worse. Get these details. Ashley Judd, if you're just joining us, she said that she was raped once in her life, but the election of Trump was far worse. Because you get raped again, this is really, really bad. This is horrible compared to real rape. And she blames a male member of her family because he voted for Trump. She says he didn't protect her from being raped as a child, and now he's raping her again by voting for Trump. I'm not making up, folks. It's right there. It's right there in the news coverage of the story. In fact, put them on the stack. What's the source for this thing? Huffing and Puffington Post. Here is Gregory, Satellite Beach, Florida. Great. I thought the feminists didn't need men to protect them. I'm not really confused. She's blaming some guy in her family for not protecting her, but I thought they didn't need that anymore. Isn't that what Lena Dunham's all about? Or hell, any of the hell of them? Rest of them? Okay, look, right there. As we speak, Adam Schiff, Democrat member of Congress, doing a press conference on the investigation into the Russians and Trump getting together to hack Hillary. And right there he said, we don't know yet if Russia and Trump campaign had contact. Yeah, you know why that is? Is because there's not a single source that's ever said so. Do you realize what a fake story all this is? I told you, my friends, that you were going to get challenged listening to me talk about this to remind you so many times that it's important, because the foundation for all of this opposition to Trump, the thing that is giving it life, the thing that is injecting life into all these protests, is that Trump's election was rigged. These people, these poor, deranged leftist radicals, literally believe it because their media has led them to believe it. The New York Times has done 2 stories, one in October and one 3 weeks ago. These nameless sources in the deep state claiming that sources are telling them that Trump campaign was talking to the Russians during the campaign. And in each one of these stories, there has been the following line: none of the sources say there is any evidence yet for contact. Going back to October, it is a non-story. It is absurd to believe that the Russians impacted the outcome of voting anyway. Nobody has asserted that because they can't. What they are asserting is that Trump was working with the Russians to hack the Hillary campaign, the Podesta emails, and all this other malarkey. But there's no evidence for it, and yet everybody's demanding a special prosecutor. I heard on Fox today a conservative never-Trumper say that she supports an independent investigation into this because our presidents need to be held accountable to the people. Somebody on our side saying this. So the never-Trumpers are still out there. And here's this Adam Schiff, a big press conference right now on all this. Don't know yet if Russia-Trump camp had contact. That's why they have to investigate. It's the seriousness of the charge, BS. And there's not a shred of evidence. Nobody has it because it didn't happen. The Russians didn't have anything to do with the outcome of the way we voted in this country. Nothing. Zilch. Zero. It's preposterous to even allege it. But that is what is fueling all of this anger and rage that Trump's election's illegitimate, that Hillary should have been, was going to be. Everybody knew it. Even at 9 o'clock in election, it was going to be a landslide. Then it didn't happen. There has to be an explanation. And it's Trump was working with the Russians, because Trump made a joke about the Russians maybe finding Hillary's emails when nobody else could. And since they have no sense of humor, they thought Trump was actually asking the Russians to finish the job and find the emails. It's just the silliest, stupidest, lamest proposition to base a campaign or a future political party's strength on that I've ever run into. They're fundraising off of it, but it isn't going to take them anywhere unless they find somebody to make it up. Okay, look, I'm not surprised to have to get into this tomorrow from the Daily Caller. Leaked audio reveals anti-Trump forces manufacturing hostile town halls. Look, we know this. We now got evidence. Everything is fake, folks, in the news. See you tomorrow.